Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Buddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
Purported leak.
Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. Sharp reaction from Canada and Mexico to the Trump tariffs and what consumers can expect. Investigators locate the black box in the deadly Philadelphia jet crash and the emotional scene as victims' families visit the D.C. crash site. First, the tariffs. President Trump ordering on imports from America's biggest trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China, claiming he's doing it in part to stop the flow of drugs and undocumented immigrants into the U.S. Canada reacting swiftly with its own tariffs. American wine and liquor disappearing from store shelves in Quebec. And Canadians booing the Star-Spangled Banner at a hockey game. Businesses and consumers now bracing for impact. The president admitting Americans could feel some pain, but saying it will be worth the price. What this could mean for your wallet, from tomatoes to avocados to the cost of a new car. Our team coverage tonight. The deadly jet crash in Philadelphia. Late today, investigators recovered the cockpit voice recorder. Debris spread over a wide area, and what we're now learning about those who were killed. 6 people on the medical transport jet and at least 1 person on the ground. The emotional scene in Washington, D.C. Victims' families gathering at the site of that mid-air collision. Efforts to lift the wreckage from the Potomac River set to begin this week. And new details on the 3rd service member who died in the Black Hawk helicopter. The city of New Orleans beefing up security ahead of the Super Bowl. The extraordinary measures being taken. Barricades going up. Drones, canine units, and tactical teams. A high-stakes showdown in court. Justin Baldoni and co-star Blake Lively trading accusations over what happened on their movie set. All eyes on the groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil on when winter could end, plus the atmospheric river soaking the West. The blockbuster NBA trade. One of the world's top basketball players is headed to L.A., joining LeBron James and the Lakers. And the special honors for 2 of the best women to play the game. Their number 22 jerseys hanging proudly forever.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks.
Tonight on PBS News Weekend, as the U.S., Canada, and Mexico move toward a North American trade war, we get the view from north of the border with the Canadian ambassador. Then, the mental health toll of the devastating California wildfires as residents sift through the ashes of upended lives.
And I had seen a picture of the house, but that did nothing to give me any forewarning of what I was going to feel when I got here. And it just overtook me.
And why a deadly strain of the bird flu is sending egg prices skyrocketing nationwide.
Tonight, another frightening plane incident. The evacuation after a fire on a United flight, while in Philadelphia, a search for answers after that medical plane crash. Terrifying videos from on board a United flight during takeoff from Houston. A fire near the wing. Look at that. Then the evacuation. We hear from passengers on board.
Seeing the smoke off the wing was really scary.
The emotional visit for families of victims to the site. The American Airlines crash, as the military now identifies the full crew of the helicopter that collided with it. One crew member sometimes worked White House events, and the parents of another share their son's story with us. In Philadelphia, investigators searching for answers after that medical jet crashed, killing 7. And the up-close video tonight, the crater it left behind. New retaliation after President Trump launched a massive trade war, hitting goods from Canada, Mexico, and China, with tariffs as high as 25%. Plus, what it means for the price you pay. Smartphone costs could spike $200, and where Canadians are now booing the U.S. national anthem. Secretary of State Marco Rubio touring the Panama Canal on his first foreign visit. What he says about the U.S. taking it back. Our Andrea Mitchell is there.
This is NBC Nightly News with Hallie Jackson.
President Trump is issuing a call to arms in the battle over artificial intelligence.
The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win.
China's new AI program, DeepSeek, is cheaper and more efficient than many of the U.S. models, and now it's the most popular app in the Apple Store. But do people know the risk it poses? And are they worried about the rise of AI? We hit the streets to find out in this week's Talk of the Town.
Do you think AI or foreign apps using AI are a national security risk?
Yes, I do.
I'm worried about another country using it. That's not ours, DeepSeek, since they can't control it. I feel like you can't put your hands on it. You got to do something about it.
Are you guys worried about China or another country spying on you via the data?
Potentially, yes. Yes, definitely, yeah.
Some sort of regulation needs to be put in place. And I think that goes for all AI, not just foreign intelligence.
In a couple of years, it could even be like an AI war, a cyber war that we wouldn't even know about.
Maybe not like robots like in Terminator, but I think that it will replace a lot of jobs.
There are concerns, yeah, but there are also benefits.
There are some good sides to it with medical research and looking into cures for certain things.
AI also taking over jobs. It's really a scary moment.
I'm a college student, so to me, like AI and ChatGPT is like really good. And I'm not saying I cheat all the time, but it's really helpful.
All right, Nicole, when you're not cleaning the chicken coop, I have seen you doing stuff on social media. She does it all, by the way.
Did clean a chicken coop today. Yes,
yeah,
I did.
She
because
does it
egg
all.
prices are so high. They killed off 150 million hens. I'm glad I have 9.
You always...
I digress. Let's get back to some AI chat.
Yes, but on the other end of the spectrum is artificial intelligence. It can do a lot of good. Like in medicine, I would think it would be really good, but are you concerned about the espionage and the spying and China having all this data?
Well, as we just heard on the streets, that one thing, she's absolutely correct. AI in healthcare is revolutionary, from just communicating and...
On this Sunday night, Canada hits back. From household appliances to Florida orange juice to salad dressing, Canada publishes its list of counter tariffs.
I think we have to buckle up. This is an unprecedented circumstance.
The rush to clear American products off some store shelves.
Not a single American product. It was easy.
As shoppers are urged to buy Canadian. Bracing for impact south of the border, as lawmakers there worry about the hit to Americans.
About $3,000 of additional price on cars, up to $10,000 on trucks.
Also, what Trump's broader trade war means for the world economy. And a Canadian hero, once again, a free man.
It was nerve-wracking. It was intimidating.
A Global News exclusive interview with the veteran detained by the Taliban.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Carolyn Jarvis. This is Asia Now.
It's 12 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 9:30 in New Delhi, and 11 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Rani Samtani at the tower. Flooding in Australia's Queensland worsens, washing away sections of a major highway. Thousands forced to flee their homes as authorities say the record downpours are set to continue. Donald Trump warns of economic pain for Americans from tariffs on key trading partners, but says it will be worth the price for U.S. interests. Trade tensions heating up as Canada and Mexico retaliate. Asian markets fall as Trump's tariffs spark fears of a broader trade war. Businesses and investors in the region are assessing the impact higher levies may have on inflation and growth.
Hello and a very warm welcome to you. You're watching Daybreak here on France 24. These are our top stories. Markets brace, countries plan retaliation taxes. The world awaits the impact of Donald Trump's trade tariffs. Talks with Mexico and Canada expected today, while China takes its case to the World Trade Organization. More Israeli airstrikes in the occupied West Bank. Over 50 people killed there in the last 2 weeks. Buildings also being bulldozed by Israel as it claims to be targeting terrorists. And fighting between the army and the M23 rebels continues in the east of Democratic Republic of Congo. The capital of the North Kivu region now facing a serious humanitarian crisis. Hospitals simply overwhelmed. Glad you could join us. Also coming up, this year's Grammy Awards ceremony just wrapping up, and Beyonce has taken the title of Best Album and Best Country Album. So a big night for her. While the winner of the Best New Artist had one clear message for the music industry, Chapelle Roan calling on them to offer artists a livable wage. We'll be getting the full lowdown on the Grammys in this edition.
This is Sky News, the headlines. Taking the next step to a trade war, Donald Trump doubles down on his message over tariffs as Canada and Mexico reveal their retaliation. The emotions running high in Canada as the American national anthem is booed, and Justin Trudeau tells his country to choose Canadian goods. And as the Prime Minister discusses closer ties with the UK's European neighbours, he says his relationship with the US President is in its early days. Also ahead. Israel launches attacks inside a West Bank refugee camp as its Prime Minister lands in Washington to discuss victory over Hamas with Donald Trump. Plus, focus on her work, not her outfits, why Kensington Palace will no longer be releasing details of what the Princess of Wales wears. Good morning, welcome to the programme.
New time of Tuesdays on ABC and ABC iView.
Today, floodwaters rise for a third day in North Queensland, with Townsville expected to cop the brunt of the rain.
You remain prepared for the ongoing prospect of more rain and the likelihood of more flooding.
Two homes destroyed in Victoria's bushfires, and there's no relief in sight, with heatwave conditions continuing throughout the state. A white supremacist network hit with unprecedented sanctions in a crackdown on anti-Semitism. Cowboy Carter. And Beyonce's historic Grammys nod makes her the first black woman to win Best Country Album. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Roz Childs.
Hundreds of people have been killed in Goma following fierce fighting with the Rwanda-backed rebels who seized the city. Hospitals are full and are struggling to cope with the influx of injured civilians. Authorities confirmed 773 deaths, but this number is likely to rise. We are so overwhelmed, but we continue to work, and we hope that with the situation having calmed down a bit, maybe that it will help us to work, but our supplies will run out soon. We just don't have enough. Goma has long served as a hub for humanitarian aid in the troubled region, and millions are at risk due to a lack of food and medical supplies. Hospitals finding it hard to treat critical patients. In similar situations, we know that between 10 and 20% of cases are critical. These are complicated cases, and these are the cases that we are seeing. There are injuries to the skull, to the thorax. This is difficult to manage. The city's medical facilities are now at breaking point, with no end to the fighting in sight. The survival of many here hangs by a thread as the conflict continues to devastate the region. Donald Trump revealed on Saturday that the United States carried out airstrikes against the Islamic State in northern Somalia, weeks after the deadly attack in New Orleans claimed by the terrorist group. In a social media post, the US president wrote that a senior IS planner and recruits were targeted in the operation, but he didn't identify them. The Office of Somalia's president said the operation reinforces the strong security partnership between the two countries in fighting extremist threats. US military officials have raised concerns over the growing influence of IS cells in the region, which are now receiving increasing guidance from the group's leadership based in northern Somalia.
An Italian Navy ship transported migrants from Albania to Italy on Saturday following a court decision in Rome, marking the third setback for Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's plan to process asylum seekers outside the EU. A total of 43 migrants originally sent to Albania under a controversial migration deal were brought back after an Italian appeals court blocked the expedition and referred the case to the European Court of Justice. Italy's agreement to process up to 3,000 migrants monthly in Albania has faced legal and humanitarian concerns, while migration to Italy continues to surge, with arrivals tripling in early 2024 compared to last year. While the agreement has raised concerns among human rights activists, European partners have expressed interest in the project. In the first 4 weeks of this year, over 3,700 migrants arrived in Italy, almost 3 times as many as in the same period last year. In the whole of last year, 66,317 migrants arrived in Italy, a drop of 58% from the previous year.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Panama on Saturday on his first foreign trip in office. Rubio is in Central America for the 5-nation tour. His priority is to curb illegal migration and to bring the message that the US wants to reclaim control over the Panama Canal despite intense resistance from regional leaders. President Jose Raul Mulino says there'll be no negotiations with the United States over ownership of the canal. He said he hoped Rubio's visit would instead focus on shared interests like migration and fighting drug trafficking. Despite Mulino's rejection of any negotiation over ownership, some believe Panama may be open to a compromise under which canal operations on both sides are taken away from the Hong Kong-based Hutchinson's Ports Company. After Panama, Rubio will travel to El Salvador, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and the Dominican Republic. His arrival comes after the US resumed visa processing at its embassy in Bogota, which had been shut down on Sunday after the Colombian government refused to accept 2 plane loads of Colombian deportees from the United States.
Kenya's Alex Matata and El Gallejo Tai of Ethiopia won the Ras Al Khaimah half-marathon men's and women's titles on Saturday in the United Arab Emirates. Matata won the men's race in 59 minutes and 20 seconds. Ethiopia's Gemechu Dida finished second in 59 minutes 29 seconds, while Isaiah Leso of Kenya clocked 59.26 to take third. El Gallejo Tai, who won the 10,000 meters bronze at the 2023 World Championship in Budapest, won the women's race in 1 hour, 5 minutes.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.